Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, you guys might have seen the video that I posted on my YouTube channel where I was talking about the Uber Eats and DoorDash people demanding and asking for tips and stuff. Because, there was a video that went viral of a man banging on a person's door, demanding a tip, and then calls them a loser because they didn't give him no tip. Who's really the loser when you sit down and think of that situation? The person that's most likely ordering food because they don't have money to go out and go grocery shopping or freaking what else? Go out to a restaurant, whatever. The only thing that they can afford is some fast food, right? Because that's what it looks like in the video with the person they ordered. So they're literally ordering the cheapest food that you can possibly order. They're not ordering a whole steak and lobster dinner. No, they are ordering literally a number 5 with extra dip and a Diet Coke. That is what they are ordering. So I'm confused by it because there's people in this world that are agreeing with the DoorDash driver on how he reacted on what he did. They're saying that he's in the right for doing what he did. Now, question. Do you think he would have, because I don't know who it was that was on the other side of the door, but let's say a 6'7" linebacker that is on his second strike and is ready to go on his third, ready to go back to prison for assaulting people. Do you honestly think that man would have did that? Or even let's say it's somebody roughly his size, but still an African American person and they open up the door with a gun. Do you think he would have had that same reaction? No, he wouldn't. So that's why, and I just know that there's going to probably be people out there like, why do you think everybody's going to have a violent interaction? No, because that's honestly what people need to experience. If they're going to be carrying on and acting like that at a person's, not even at their place, at another person's place, their domain, their house, their apartment, you're carrying on like that. No, they need to have one of those like scared straight moments just to humble them and to let them know you can't just do that to random people. You can't just bang on random people's door demanding money from them. Because the thing is this, if you're really that down bad, if you really need that money, why not just go out and get you a better paying job? It's so funny how people, they will sit down and agree with this man, right? Agree with what he did, but they won't just go out and get themselves a better paying job. That's why with me, like when I worked in the at that cafe for 4 years, I never once complained about a tip. Why? Because it was a good paying job. The thing is this, because at the end of the day, like tips, when it was split up amongst all of us, like everybody that worked at the cafe, it was probably like roughly around $20 and stuff. So yeah, it'll probably like help you out for, maybe getting you some snacks throughout the week. Like if you're starting the day off, maybe a Starbucks drink, maybe some stuff after work. But that was about it. Most of the time, because the tips wasn't a whole lot. So most of the time, yeah, I would just use it to go get me a protein shake or just go and give it to some homeless people. Cause I'm like, I already have a good paycheck from this job. So I don't even know like why I would even trip about a tip. But the thing is this, we will only get like maybe $20 each, right? We had dealt with like 1,000 customers probably a day. That was, and I'm saying like there would be times where a whole lot of customers wouldn't even come in. So we would have to skip that week of tips because it was like we didn't even get a whole lot of customers. So tips, in my opinion, that's a privilege. Ordering food, that's not a privilege. I feel like that's a last resort because if you compare ordering food to going grocery shopping or going out to eat or whatever, ordering food from the comfort of your house is literally the cheapest way of getting food, all right? And no, so I went on DoorDash and I typed up my address, I added up like what meal, so it was 2 cheeseburgers, meal with so it's like large, so 1 large french fry, 2 cheeseburgers with a large fry and a Sprite. Altogether, that came up to $23.74. Now, let's compare $23.74 to every other food option, eating out, grocery shopping, all that. So, let's start off with grocery shopping, right? So, first you're going to need a car. Car is going to run you up to, depending on what kind of car it is. Let's just say it's like a Honda or something. So, yeah, let's say it's like a $17,000 car, because obviously you're going to want yourselves a new car. But even if it's like a dirt cheap car, right? Let's say it's like a 96 Honda Civic or something, but it's, it still runs and all that stuff, and you just recently got it. All right, and then like, let's say, all the parts is all okay and all that stuff. So let's say that car runs you to like maybe $1,000, $1,500. Right then and there, you are spending more than just ordering the food from your house. But let's say you got yourself a 96 Honda Civic, all right, $1,500 car. So you got it, you got the car. Now you gotta go and get gas. Gas is gonna probably run you up to like $70, $80 if you get you a full tank. I really don't know how that's gonna work with no Honda Civic, but anyways, so yeah, you do that. You go out and get yourself a full tank of gas. That's going to cost more than ordering the food. Now you got to go all the way to this store, get you some groceries. Groceries is going to run you up to maybe $100, $200, depending on what you buy. So that's more than ordering out. Then let's say on the way you coming back home, you get into a car accident and it's your fault. So now you're spending all within that days of work. All right, all within that days of work, you're spending far beyond, all right, that limit of just sitting at home and ordering food. So I'm confused by like when they say that ordering food is a luxury, and when people have talked to me, because I've always have spoken out about how I don't order food because I don't trust it. I don't want people eating my food and all that stuff. But there's at times where, because there'll be times where I'll be talking with friends and then they'll be like, oh, I'm hungry. And I'm like, well, just go out and get you something to eat. And they're like, well, I don't have a whole lot of gas, or I don't have a car, or, it's some reason on why they can't go out and get themselves something to eat. And so they will order DoorDash, or they'll order, and it's literally, based off of what I had just seen, it's cheap, all right? So I don't know if you gotta, like, once you order that, then you gotta pick a driver, then the driver, they add their money. So either way, regardless, it ain't like it's gonna cost thousands or even hundreds of dollars just to go and get you something to eat through DoorDash or Uber Eats, unless they raise the price and they get mad expensive. But if not, it looks like they ordering food through that way. That looks like that's the cheapest way. So I would like for somebody to explain to me, how is that a luxury? Because in my opinion, a luxury is when you have the money to go out and go grocery shopping. You have the money to go out to eat to some big old fancy restaurant and get you a steak and lobster dinner. That's a luxury. I feel like when you're having to order fast food through an app, that's not a luxury. That's literally last resort. That is all that you can afford. That is all that you can do. So somebody please explain it to me. How are a DoorDash or a Uber Eats driver entitled to a tip? You're not doing anything like that's tip worthy. In my opinion, all you're doing is just dropping off the food. If that's the case, then every delivery service out there requires a tip. Amazon, FedEx, UPS. They be out there delivering whole TVs, PlayStations, freaking computer parts, whole computers. I'm saying, like, they deliver a whole bed. It's like there's so many delivery services out there where it's like, then they should all be entitled to it. Everybody in this world should be entitled to a tip. I should be entitled to a tip. And honestly, let's just put this in an example, right? I go and I deliver some food to a homeless person, right? I see that they're struggling, so I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Let me go get them like a sandwich or, some snacks or whatever. How did you think that would sound if I were to approach that homeless person and be like, oh, I would like a tip, please? They're homeless. They literally have no money. Now, I'm not trying to compare that to a person that's living in a house or whatever, or an apartment, wherever, but overall, I still feel like it's in that same boat. So that's why it really trips me out, like how there are people in this world. So somebody on YouTube, because I did make a video talking about this, and somebody on YouTube, they're trying to argue with me and say that ordering food is a luxury. And you can tell that most likely whoever this person is, they're a DoorDash driver or, Uber Eats, whatever and stuff. And they're trying to explain that to me. You're trying to explain this to somebody that has worked in the food industry for 4 years. Not a few days, not a few months. 4 years. There have been times, okay, where customers will come in. We will give them top of the line service, good food. Cause to explain to you guys like how my cafe was set up. Our cafe was like in the customers, I'm not gonna say in my opinion, in the customer's opinion, it was the best cafe. I guess me, like I would say the same too, like because there's a lot of people compared to the other locations that was in the area. Our location was the busiest. And I don't know how many times customers would come in and say, oh yeah, you guys got the best food and all that stuff. So you got where, customers are saying that we have the best food, right? And then, we're not being rude towards them. We're not acting crazy towards them. We are serving them food with a smile. We are being as nice as possible to them. But we're only getting $20 in tips. Now, how do you think that would look, right? How do you think I would still have a job, all right, if I were looking these customers in the face and being like, hey, don't forget to put money in the tip jar? You realize how tacky that is? You realize just overall how like dumb that sounds? And there's people in this world, I feel like, and it has a lot to do with the generation that's just entitled. And not even generation, but just people in general. There's entitled people in this world where they just take entitlement to a whole new level. And it's like, fam, you need to get humbled, and you need to get humbled real quick. All right. And then the thing is this, to really eliminate this whole issue amongst, if I got to give you a tip or not, you're complaining that much over a tip, right? You're complaining that much over a tip. What's stopping you from getting a better paying job? Because all right, so here's the thing. I've done numerous takes of this podcast episode, so I don't know if I had mentioned this already or not, but I worked at this cafe for 4 years. It was a great paying job. All right. I mean, the checks was like, the checks was good. All right. I was able to I was living a luxury life just working at that place. Right. Never once did I need to complain or even ask for a tip. There is at times like where they will personally give me, they wouldn't put it in the tip jar. They will personally give me, but I was like, bruh, this is just, it's pocket change. Not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but I was like, it's pocket change compared to how much money I'm getting paid at this job. So like, that's why me personally, I never worried about, even if it was a job where like a tip jar didn't even exist, I wouldn't even have tripped about it. Cause I was like, bruh, the check already is good. I'm like, I'm saying like, if I never would have seen the tip jar there, I would have never questioned it. I would have never questioned it. It's something that never would have came to my mind like, well, how come we don't have a tip jar? How come we don't have... And the thing is this, where it's like, we wasn't even deserving because I was a cashier. I wasn't even deserving of a tip. All I just did was just ring them up and sent them on their way. It was the cooks the cooks and the chefs, they were the ones that deserved the tip more than anybody else. When you sit down and think about it, when you sit down and you sum up my job and the cooks and the chefs and their job, all I do is just say, hey, how's your day going? My day's going good. Like, they ask me, oh, my day's... Or they'll say my day's going good. How about yours? I'm like, my day's going good too. All right, your total will be $578 or whatever. They give me either cash or a credit card, swipe, or give them their change back. Would you like a receipt? No. All right, have a good day. That's it. That's all that I did. The cooks and the chefs, they're in an area that's like probably 70, 80 degrees plus, right? For the whole day, all right? Yeah, they might get like a couple of breaks in here and there and stuff. But anyways, they're back there the whole day, all right? Cooking up food left and right, and cooking good food on top of that, So they're doing that left and right. The fact that they had to split their tips among us, and it's like, we didn't even do nothing. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful towards the cashiers or anything, but it's like, honestly, sit down and think about it though. Who is more deserving of a tip? Myself or the cooks and the chefs? The cooks and the chefs. Even I would agree. So no, and there was a time where I really displayed like how much I didn't really care for tips, because I was like, again, like I said, it was a good paying job. But so there was a day where one of the chefs that worked at the cafe, he had got the place had got robbed, but his stuff was taken. So to explain, it was crazy too. Like, I guess like they put something in the door to keep the door from closing all the way. So So once when they seen that we had all left, then they just, I don't know if they hid out in the stairwell or what they did, but they came back, took his expensive knives. Like, I guess he had these, like, really expensive cooking knives that were, like, hundreds of dollars and stuff. So took his cooking knives. And then, I remember I came in, the whole, like, our office was trashed. And I'm like, dang, what happened in here? And then that's when they was like, yeah, we was robbed. They got it on camera. Guy came through, did his business and stuff. So anyways, I think it was later on that day or maybe that week. I don't know. But anyways, my supervisor, she comes up to me and she's all like, hey, Tyler, we were thinking like if we would just give away our tips for a few weeks. So, and give it to Mark so he can, I just say I didn't say his last name. I just, just said like his. See, that's what happens when you be talking to, pretend I didn't say his name. But overall, though, all right, anyways, moving on. But yeah, they was all like, Mark, he needed his, the money to get his knives back. I'm all like, say less. I would want the same thing for me if it happened to me. So I'm like, nah, he can have the tips. I'm not tripping about it and stuff. So I'm like, nah, that's him and, that's overall what, if that's what he needs, then it's like, fam, then hey, this all like, go for it. I'm like, I'm not tripping about it and things. And so that's how that's how much I didn't care for the tips. Like, they were there. It was like, and then people are trying to say like it's a luxury to get delivery service. No, it's a luxury to get a tip. That's what people need to understand. You are not entitled to a tip, and you never will be entitled to a tip. If you want a tip, it's called a J and an O and a B, and you could get a much more larger tip. But I'm not going to sit down and be arguing with people whether you're entitled to a tip. Obviously, if you out here arguing about getting a tip, you're not deserving of a tip. You are not deserving of a tip. And I will say that to anybody's face possible. Because there is a lot of people in here where they just, that entitlement, it gets to your head. And then you think, oh, I got to get. No, you are not entitled to a tip. All right. Even people that be putting in freaking hours upon hours of, work, and they be delivering stuff left and right, whether it's the heaviest of the heaviest or the lightest of the lightest. But it's like, fam. And that's why, and it's crazy because it's like when you see like places like Amazon, for an example, all this stuff, the amount of times those guys are just going back and forth every day, just, delivering things to play. I just had it where an Amazon driver delivered some RAM, this morning, like 7 a.m, bro. And the thing is this, it's like, what's funny is that they don't have like, I don't even think they have like no, because it's like, how are they supposed to know what the who the driver is gonna be and stuff? So it's like, yeah, ain't nobody gonna know. So, but yeah, it's like they don't even have like no delivery service thing for Amazon. And I feel like Amazon workers, they be putting in like a whole lot of work. So if there's anybody that's deserving of a tip, it's some Amazon workers. Cause I mean, oh my God, the amount of times that them guys is putting in work. So, but yeah, it's like people, they really need to get humbled. I guarantee and I promise you, it's going to be a situation where the Uber Eats or DoorDash driver, they're going to do that to the wrong somebody and they're going to get jumped. And I'm going to just stand there and watch. I'm going to probably walk up on the situation and be like, hey, yo, what's going on? Why you jumping this man? And they're like, he came banging on my door asking for a tip. I'm like, is that true? And he's all like, yeah, could you please call somebody to help? I'm like, you shouldn't have been banging on the man's door. Then he's going to get jumped and I'm just going to go on about my business. I'm like, I'm sorry that has to happen to you, but hey, you banging on somebody else's door as if you own that building. Nah, bro. It's like, there's people in here, like I said, there's people in this world that are entitled and they need to get humbled. If they don't want to get humbled, then they need to go out and get themselves a good paying job. All right. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on a podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 46 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. And make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you are purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. And if you are purchasing any energy drinks or sleep drinks from Poggers, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock 10% off your next purchase. And if you're purchasing any controller covers or analog grip covers for your controllers, make sure you go check out Fatal Grips. You can use my promo code TMossBoss and it would also knock 10% off of your next purchase. If you want to learn more about SeatGeek, Poggers, and Fatal Grips, you can go check out my Twitter account. Their usernames are in my bio section on my profile. So anyways, thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.